I am going to explain a 16-mark question, briefly explain the mechanism of error control and explain any two error control mechanism in detail. Mechanism of error control. Error control is basically a process in data link layer of detecting or identifying and retransmitting data frames that might be lost or corrupted during transmission. In case of lost or corrupted frames, the receiver does not receive the correct data frame and sender is ignorant about the loss. The data link layer follows technique known as retransmission of frames to detect or identify transit errors and also to take necessary actions that are required to reduce or remove such errors. Each and every time an effort is detected during transmission, particular data frames retransmitted and the process is known as ARQ, automatic repeat request. There are two ways of error control, namely error detection and error correction. Error detection. Error detection is used to detect or identification of errors. These errors may cause due to noise and other impairments during transmission from the transmitter to the receiver in communication system. This technique is used to detect unclear and distorted data or messages. Error correction. Error correction is used for correcting the errors. This method helps in reconstruction of original data. It is very costly and it is very hard. Various techniques for error control. There are three techniques: stop and wait ARQ, go back N ARQ, selective repeat ARQ. The ARQ stands for automatic repeat request or can called as automatic repeat query. Stop and wait ARQ. In this stop and wait ARQ, first the sender sends a frame to the receiver. The receiver receives the frame and sends acknowledgement to the sender. When the sender confirmed about successful delivery of the frame, then it transmits the next frame. If the sender didn't receive the acknowledgement within the given time, it assumes either the frame or acknowledgement is lost. Then it retransmits the frame. If sender receives a negative acknowledgement, then it also retransmits the frame. Go back N ARQ. In go back N ARQ, the sender has buffers called sending window. The sender sends multiple frames based upon the sending window size without receiving the acknowledgement of the previous ones. Here the receiver receives frames one by one. It keeps tracking the incoming frame sequence numbers and sends the corresponding acknowledgement frames. After the sender has sent all the frames in window, it checks up to what the sequence number it has received positive acknowledgement. If sender has received positive acknowledgement for all the frames, it sends next set of frames. If sender receives negative acknowledgement or has not received any acknowledgement for a particular frame, it retransmits all the frames after which it does not receive any positive acknowledgement. Selective repeat ARQ. In selective repeat ARQ, both the sender and receiver have buffer called sending window and receiving window. As like go back in ARQ, here the sender sends multiple frames based upon their window size and without receiving the acknowledgement of the previous ones. Here the receiver receives multiple frame within the receiving window size. In this, the receiver tracks the incoming frame sequence numbers, buffers the frames in memory. It sends acknowledgement for all successfully received frames and sends no acknowledgement for only frames which are missing or damaged. In this case, sender sends only packet for which no acknowledgement is received.